National Autism Acceptance Month. I'll read the proclamation into the record and next call on comments from the council, followed by Delegate Boysko, who is here and has been actively involved with Growing Kids Therapy Center as well. And then we have Elizabeth Vossler and Christy Vossler, who run Growing Kids Therapy Center and our Herndon residents, and lots of other clients, the tribe, that will come forward to accept the proclamation. And we're thrilled to have you here. A Town of Herndon proclamation recognizing National Autism Acceptance Month, April 2017. Whereas autism is a motory sensory difference experienced by children and adults, some individuals are able to speak and others are not. Speech is not an indicator of intelligence. Autism is a lifelong condition. Skills and quality of life are improved by intervention and support services, and whereas people should presume competence in autistic individuals. This means believing autistic individuals can and want to learn. This means providing quality education and intervention. And whereas individuals want to be included in the community, this means ensuring access and acceptance. Autistic individuals are your community members, your neighbors, your friends, and your family. The Town of Herndon proclaims acceptance and welcome for autistic individuals in the community. Welcoming autistic individuals comes through education and community support. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Council of the Town of Herndon, Virginia, hereby proclaims April 2017 as National Autism Acceptance Month in the Town of Herndon, and urges all employees and residents to participate in our town's National Autism Acceptance Month activities in order to become better educated about autism and create a better community for individuals with autism. I am so pleased to read this proclamation for many reasons, and one of the things that makes me most proud is what you do not realize is that the members of the tribe that are here today, the clients from Growing Kids Therapy Center, wrote this proclamation themselves, and it was read into the record tonight unedited. I'm going to let my colleagues speak before I continue. Comments from council? Mr. McKenna.
I just want to say it's a wonderful thing, and what a great job. And growing up, there was no, like in the 70s and 80s, we didn't know or it wasn't explained what autism was, and kids were separated by classes and different things, and it made things worse for some kids. And it's just nice to see something like this, and to also let the community know that we're behind you, and the amount of work the families put with their children, it's a lot, and they need support, and we're here for you too. So that's all I really want to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Davidson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to add that we campaigned on the fact that Herndon is a town for everyone, and that includes autistic individuals.
Thank you. Other comments from council? Ms. Cunningham.
Thank you. In a prior life, I was pleased to own an art business, and one of the things that we look forward to every year is working with a number of the different providers who brought in autistic young people and adults. And we've always viewed it as autism is just a different way of looking at the world. So thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. Sure. Vice Mayor Baker.
Sure. I want to particularly acknowledge Elizabeth Vossler, who runs Growing Kids Therapy, and her wife Christy, and also the other folks that work there. We are really fortunate in Herndon. In our little town of Herndon, we have a world-renowned, speech pathologist who's really educating not only autistic individuals, but folks that aren't autistic. She has taught me so much about what this means, and everyone wants to be heard. All of us want to be heard, and that's really what the message of what her organization does, and it's so critical. And I'm just so impressed with her, and I really feel so fortunate that we have this resource in Herndon, even though we have to occasionally share her with New Zealand and Australia and South Africa. But we are really lucky to have you here in Herndon. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Olam.
I am so glad that so many of you came out tonight so that we could meet you and that you could hear the proclamation that you had written, read into our record for you. And this is a hometown for everyone, and look forward to seeing you around.
Absolutely. Even though Councilmember Friedrichs is not here this evening, she sent me an email this afternoon and asked if I would read her comments because she wanted you to hear what she had to say. She said, I attended the Art and Autism event at the Herndon Middle School last weekend. I was incredibly impressed and delighted by the event. The art was amazing. The inclusiveness and the community spirit of the tribe is heartwarming and, even more important, will provide the support necessary to allow the kids to thrive in their future lives. Thank you for inviting me to be there. It changed the way I think about autism. And I want to echo the comments of all my colleagues. A couple summers ago, Elizabeth invited me to come to a summer class that she was doing, and the focus that week was really on advocacy. And it was the first experience I had had in Growing Kids Therapy Center, and almost everyone that's here tonight, I think, was there that day. And I was supposed to come for about 30 minutes, and I think I was there for an hour and a half. And it was one of the best things that I have been able to take part in since I've been mayor, because the piece that you keep stressing about, presuming competence, is so important. And we want you to be included in our community and to be able to advocate for yourselves. And we are very excited that you're here tonight to accept the proclamation. And I hope that some of you are planning to take advantage of coming to the podium and telling us what you think we need to hear. Communicating through your letter boards, we want you to address the council, and we are here to listen. Some of the, at least one of the members of the tribe lives in the town of Herndon, just right over near downtown. So are there three? There are three. Wow. So these are our constituents, guys, and they are here to let us know what we need to know. So before we invite you forward for the presentation, I'm going to invite down Delegate Boysko, who I know wanted to say a few words, who's been involved in the center as well. So welcome, Delegate Boysko.
Thank you so much.
Is it on? Uh-oh. Sorry, we're not prepared.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks,
I'm
Bob.
Delegate Jennifer Boysko. I represent the 86th District, which is the town of Herndon and surrounding areas. And I want to say that I am thrilled to have gotten to meet all of you all. I also went and spent the day with the tribe and when the students from the University of Virginia came and watched you all doing your letter boards and really loved communicating. I also have spent a lot of time with other students and adults visiting Richmond during the General Assembly session in 2017 and 2016. And I've also made family visits to homes of families who have loved ones living with autism. I wanted to share with you all a part of Governor McAuliffe's his proclamation that he issued this month. And it said in part, Virginia is committed to ensuring that persons living with autism have access to lifelong care and services needed to pursue their full potential and happiness. And I want you to know that Virginia really supports you and cares about you and wants you to have a full and wonderful life. And I want to say that I'm honored to stand with our trailblazers. Remember, we talked about that when I came to meet with you all. I'm honored to stand with you all. You are trailblazers, and so pleased that we are recognizing Autism Awareness Month. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
We are pleased to have this proclamation before us. It's all about acceptance. We've become fully aware now. We are accepting autism into our community, and we want you to. I just can't say it enough that several people said it. Herndon is a hometown for everyone. Everyone is welcome. Everyone has a voice. Everyone matters, and everyone can contribute. So we look forward to hearing more from you moving forward. Did you want to address the council first and then do our photo? Does that work better for you? Sure. So I would welcome any of the tribe. Or I guess Elizabeth, to come forward.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Vossler, and I'll be using the letterboards with Ian Nordling. H, I, hi,
Please.
I, A, M, hi, I am, I, A, N, Ian, N, O, R, D, L, I, N, G. Hi, I'm Ian Nordling. I, J, U, S, T, just, M, O, V E D moved. T O H E R N D O N. I just moved to Herndon. T H I S this B A S T past Y E A R. I just moved to Herndon this past year. I W A N T E D. I wanted A C O M M U N I T Y. I wanted a community. T H A T. That. W O U L D. Wood. W E L C O M E. That would welcome M E. I wanted a community that would welcome me. I F O U Ed D. I found it. Thank you so. Thank you so much. EMBRACING embracing ME me AND and MYFRIENDS. Thank you for embracing me and my friends.
You're welcome. Elizabeth, is it better if we...
You can, Juan is a little sensitive to the sound, so one way that sometimes people will applaud for autistic people who are sensitive to sounds is this, and some people call this flap-pause, because you're flapping and applauding at the same time.
Okay, so we will try to flap pause.
H I hi I A M H U A N. Hi, I'm Juan. I D O N T L I V E I N H E R N D O N. I don't live in Herndon. B U T, but I S P E N D. Spend A L O T O F T I M E H E R E. I don't live in Herndon, but I spend a lot of time here. T H I S this I S is A N I N C R E D I B L E T O W N. This is an incredible town. T H A N K Y O U F O R H O N O R I N G. Thank you for honoring O U R, our, W O R D S, our words, I N T H I S in this. L O V E L Y in this lovely. P R O C L A M A T I O N. Thank you for honoring our words in this lovely proclamation. E V E R Y T O W and every town S H O U L D should B E L I K E T. Where are we going? H I S. Every town should be like this. Oh. T-H-A-N-K-Y-O-U. Thank you.
Thank you. We have some future town council people out here in the audience. They're spreading our message. Hi, Ben.
H-E-L-L. Hello. T-E-A-R-M-Y-O-R-M-E. Sorry. M-E-R-K-E-L. Hello, dear Mayor Merkel.
Hello, Ben. I'm glad you're here.
Ben is a fan. I A F S O P L E A S E D pleased T O 2 B E B H E R E T O N I G H T. I am so pleased to be here tonight. T H A N K Y O U. Thank you. G U Y S. Thank you, guys. F O R Y O U R for your A C C E. Get it? E T A N C E. Thank you guys for your acceptance. T H A N K Y O U. Thank you. F O R for W E L C O M I N G. Welcoming you. S. Thank you for welcoming us. E V E R Y O N E. Everyone. T E S E R V E S. Everyone deserves A V O I C. Everyone deserves a voice.
Absolutely.
I'll be back after, right? I want to go home after this. Thank you.
I think we're ready to go home, too.
Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for being here.
THANKYOU. Thank you. TOW and town. COU. Can we wait on that? And SEL. TONIGHTIS. Thank you, Town Council. Tonight is ADREAM. Dream. COME. Dream come. DRUE. Thank you, Town Council. Tonight is a dream come true. IONLYMO. VEDHERE. I only moved here. Okay. Ready? I only moved here. THIS. This. MONTH. I only moved here this month. ICANT. Can't. THINK. Think. OFANOTHER. Another. PLACE. Place. ID. RATHERLIVE. I can't think of another place I'd rather live.
I love you.
Oh, thank you.
Too. DHANKYOUHERNDON. Thank you, Herndon.
Thank you, Herndon. Thank you.
As a Herndon resident, as a Herndon business owner, my heart is full. These kids, the other kids at my practice, are my life, are my heart. And to be embraced the way you have embraced us, to not just welcome, but to celebrate is tremendous. You know, these kids, for every door that opens, 5 more are shut. And this is not something that happens in just any community. So, to quote Tommy, Herndon, I love you.
Thank you. Well, I think the honor is ours, and we hope that this is not the only time that you'll come to our council meeting and let us know what you think we need to know about how to make Herndon a better place. So thank you all for being here. I would like to invite forward all of the tribe and their families, Elizabeth and Christy, and Delegate Boysko, and the entire dais to join us for the presentation.
You want no tears in those pictures.
Too late.
No tears in this picture. None. No tears in this picture.
Sorry.
No crying.
This ain't baseball, man.
I know there was a little red there.
Oh, sure, Mr. Downer, go right ahead. Wait, turn the mic on. Can you turn the mic on? I don't think it's on. Is it okay? Sorry.
We have a grandson. When he was born 21 years ago, we were down there with him and noticed that I had read an article in the doctor's office about what autism is. And I noticed he was doing repetitive things, repeating things, saying things. His parents thought it was funny, believe it or not. They didn't understand, and we tried to talk with them. And this is to all the grandparents out there who happen to, it's very difficult for a parent to recognize a lot of times. And unfortunately, he was in the Newport News school system at one point, and they were doing a wonderful job with him. And then they decided they wanted to homeschool him when they moved away. And he didn't have the opportunities that these children have had. And there's all levels of autism, and people have to realize that. I think we're all autistic a little bit in some respects when you read about it. But it really is important well, first I'd like to recognize the parents. This is a calling, it's a dedication, and it's just fortunate they have made the commitment that we're in a county, in both counties actually, Loudoun and Fairfax, who can provide the backup and help. I saw the results of what doesn't happen, and I frankly don't know whether he can read right now. And he could be he's 22 years old, he could be a productive citizen with the right support. He just didn't have it, and he's out of this area. He's down in North Carolina. But anyway, I just wanted to say that and thank all the parents for all they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just got a text from a constituent that said, I'm watching from home. That was by far one of the best presentations ever. I want to make sure you hear that. I picked it up because I thought maybe it was my kid, but I just thought you should know that. And I couldn't agree more. So thank you so much. Sadly, National Economic Development Week has to follow that, so I know, right? Council Member Cunningham, try to top that. Please read the proclamation for us.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A Town of Herndon proclamation recognizing National Economic Development Week, May 8th through May 13th, 2017. Celebrating its 91st anniversary in 2017, the International Economic Development Council, IEDC, is the largest professional economic development organization dedicated to serving economic developers and providing leadership and excellence in economic development for communities, members, and partners. National Economic Development Week was created by the IEDC to celebrate the achievements of economic developers in rural and urban communities, local, state, provincial, and federal governments, public-private partnerships, chambers of commerce, universities, and other institutions. Economic developers are a pivotal part of communities they serve, helping to promote the economic well-being and enhancing the quality of life amongst communities and neighbors. Therefore, the Mayor and the Town Council of the Town of Herndon, Virginia hereby proclaim the week of May 8 through May 13, 2017 as National Economic Development Week in the Town of Herndon. Further, the Mayor and the Town Council of the Town of Herndon, Virginia hereby celebrate the achievements of economic developers and recognize their essential roles in fostering entrepreneurship and contributing to a strong and prosperous economy. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Discussion on the proclamation. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. It was one of my first jobs on town council when I was elected in 2010 to chair the then Economic Advisory Commission. And out of that grew a number of initiatives. The town is already seeing the fruits of their labor. We hired a new economic development manager. We implemented the new brand. We recast our website. We redid our business outreach letter, and we've really made an effort to make our businesses a part of our community, and they have responded in kind because, everybody loves being in Herndon. So I want to congratulate our town manager, our economic development manager. I would like to congratulate and thank the members of our Economic Advisory Commission as it stands today for continuing to do their part to make Herndon not just a great place to live, work, and play, but to open, start, and operate a business. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Mr. McKenna.
As a son of a newspaper shop owner for 17 years in a downtown district in a small town, I know what this proclamation means personally. And I actually ran for council back in 1998 when I was younger. I had a little more hair on my head and in better shape. But I ran because the downtown district was dying, and the street in front of the downtown district, there was construction going on for over 12 months. There were days my parents were taking home $12 a day. And they were trying to get a kid through college, and I was tired of it, so I decided to run because of that. So I'm glad this proclamation is done. I actually moved here. One reason, I actually had lunch at Jimmy's and saw the town and said, this reminds me of my hometown, I want to move here. And Jimmy, 17 years ago, took a chance. So inadvertently, a byproduct of that is me moving here. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but that's what it is. So it all matters.
Thank you, sir. Other comments from council? Well, one of the first things that we worked on back in 2010 when some of us got elected for the first time was trying to shift the focus onto economic development. We created the position of an economic development manager, which Dennis took on 3.5 years ago, and it's really made a difference. Dennis and I were out today visiting with 2 businesses. We try every week to visit a couple of existing and new businesses. Today we were at a company that's building a deflection materials that deflect missiles who are going toward armored cars in war. I mean, there are amazing businesses in town that I would have never dreamed were here. So we're hearing good feedback from the business community as well, that it's nice to be included because they are constituents of ours, and we look forward to continuing the journey. So any other comments from council? No? Okay, well, with that, I will invite down the entire council, the town manager, and town attorney. We have members of our economic development committee, and I believe, Dennis Holstey's here, our economic development manager, and Mike O'Reilly is one of the co-chairs of the Herndon Chamber Committee, and we'd like to invite you all down, and then if you'd like to provide some remarks, we'll be all ears. Thank you. Both of our speakers said they'd speak after the next proclamation because they're closely related. Our next proclamation is to recognize Virginia Business Appreciation Month, and I'll call on Councilmember Olem for the proclamation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Town of Herndon proclamation recognizing Virginia Business Appreciation Month, May 2017. Virginia businesses provide a wide range of products, services to customers throughout the world and employ over 40 million people throughout the Commonwealth. These businesses employ a diverse, skilled workforce, which include the second largest concentration of high-tech workers in the country. Virginia is currently home to more than 37 Fortune 1000 firms and more than 23 firms reporting annual revenues in excess of $5 billion. Additionally, Virginia is ranked among the top 10 states in the nation for small businesses. Herndon businesses employ more than 25,000 people from throughout the region. The town is home to more than 1,400 businesses, including one Fortune 1000 firm. The town is also home to 2 of the top 20 fastest growing companies in the greater Washington, D.C. region and has been named among the top 20 best places to start a business in Virginia. Therefore, the Mayor and Town Council of the Town of Herndon, Virginia, hereby proclaim the month of May 2017 as Virginia Business Appreciation Month in the Town of Herndon to promote and ensure that the history and growth of Virginia businesses are recognized across the Commonwealth. Furthermore, the Mayor and Town Council of the Town of Herndon, Virginia hereby celebrate and acknowledge the essential role that our business community and its community partners, including the town's Economic Development Advisory Committee, Dulles Regional Chamber of Commerce, Herndon Chamber Committee, and the Fairfax County Economic Development Authority play in supporting and strengthening our local economy. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Comments from council. Ms. Olem.
Yes, and just this week, I think it was Monday, I was reading where our own Terry McAuliffe, our governor, is trying to make sure we're the lead in driverless cars around the country and promoting that because of the way that the laws are set up here. We may be taking that away from California. So one more thing to add to our hat.
Right. Any other comments? Mr. McKenna.
Just want to say we're very lucky to be in this Commonwealth in the fact that if you look at surrounding states, some of the economic troubles that they're having, some by their own doing, it's good to know Virginia's leading the way in many ways. And one of the reasons why many companies come here is because of the environment and the acceptance that we have. So I do think it's symbiotic, and I do think this is great. And we're very lucky to have the state we have and the people that we have in leadership. So thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Vice Mayor.
Sure. So for my day job, I work for a software company, and I work with partnerships, and a big part of my role is being easy to do business with, right? Making sure that my company, that we facilitate those relationships. And often, even though the company I work for is almost $1 billion in sales, we work with companies much bigger than that. So making sure that we can facilitate those transactions. I mention that only to say I love that Herndon, even though we're government, and sometimes government isn't known for its efficiency, I think Herndon has done an amazing job at really focusing on businesses, particularly with the hire of Dennis Holste, but just making sure that all of our town staff definitely sees our business community, our Chamber of Commerce as our constituents, as Mayor Merkel mentioned, and treating it as such. They do represent about 45% of our tax base, right? And we do have lots of non-residents who come in and spend money in Herndon every day, through meals tax and other ways that they support our community. So it's certainly important to us, and I'm glad we recognize our Herndon businesses.
Thank you. I concur. 25,000 people come into town to work every day. That's more than the population of our 4 square miles, just by a little bit, not by much. So it really our businesses play a big role in making things happen. They sponsor events. They pay more than their share of taxes to make sure that we're able to run the municipality. And the people who come into to work every day use some of our services. They go to our restaurants, and like the Vice Mayor said, they fund some of our meals tax. So we have tried to work over the last several years to get the word out to our residents who live here, why we value our businesses and what they do to make our town the town that it is. So we appreciate you, and we're pleased to have this proclamation. And once again, I'll invite down everyone from the dais, members of the Economic Development Committee, and Dennis Holste and Mike O'Reilly once again.
Great. Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. My name is Dennis Holste, Economic Development Manager for the Town of Herndon. I want to thank you all for the 2 proclamations that you guys passed this evening. I want to just briefly highlight some of the past accomplishments in economic development that have taken place in the last year and highlight some upcoming activities and moves that you'll hear about. It's been a little over a year since you guys created the Herndon Economic Development Advisory Committee. At your May 16th meeting, you will hear from the chair, David Burtwhistle, who will be giving you an update as to the activities that they've undertaken, as well as share with you, I should say, their economic strategic plan that they've developed. Other economic development accomplishments include the Town Council selecting a developer to negotiate with the redevelopment of the downtown Herndon site. The town has held the 3rd annual Mayor's New Business Breakfast, which we recognize all the new businesses that have opened in the town in the past year. And most recently, the town participated in NAOP's Game On in Herndon event, where over 190 participants attended to learn about the different activities and developments that are underway here in the town of Herndon, and that was a very successful event. Other happenings include Weird Brothers Coffee recently opened their new storefront in Sunset Business Park. A wine bar will be opening in the 2nd phase of Junction Square called Risky Ricky's. And most recently, Serco Government Services, which is a British firm, will be relocating from Reston Town Center at the end of the year to Monument 3 on Worldgate Drive. And that will bring roughly 80,000, they'll be occupying roughly 80,000 square feet of office space. So we're really excited about that move. To celebrate Virginia Business Appreciation Month and National Economic Development Week, Mayor Merkel and I and the Herndon Chamber Committee will be stopping in on different businesses to visit with them and share with them our appreciation for them being here in the town. Again, I want to thank you for these proclamations and appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a theme there: coffee, wine, getting people from Reston over to Herndon. I like it. In a nutshell, that's our mission.
Madam Mayor, members of council, thank you for both of these proclamations. I was going to thank Dennis for coming in between the autism acceptance presentation, but you see what he did. He's, lumped us all together now, so he didn't really take a bullet for anybody. He's brought us all up here together, which is just fine. Eileen Curtis is sorry she couldn't be here tonight. She took ill. She wasn't able to make it to work today. She expresses her appreciation for the proclamation and her sincere apologies for not being able to be here. I can tell you that the job that you're doing and reaching out to businesses is working. On our local Herndon committee, last month I had a new member come, introduced herself. I had seen her before. She's a branch manager of a local bank who had never been involved before. She said, Lisa Merkel told me I should come. I said, well, that's great, and I talked to her a little bit. I saw her again earlier this week, and she said, I want to volunteer at Arts Herndon, and so does my friend. We want to do at least 2 hours every Saturday. And that's a business that wasn't involved before, based out of Reston. not doing much in the community. She says, I'm terrifically busy. I take classes on Tuesday and Thursday at George Mason. I have Sundays to myself, but I have 2 or 3 hours on Saturday that I can probably give to the town. So it's working. The climate in the business community is so much better today than it was 3, 4, 5 years ago. I can sense it from my activities with the chamber. I can sense it when I'm talking to other people in Fairfax County, other business owners, as well as members of the Fairfax County government. Herndon's on the move, and we're proud to be part of that. I want to mention a couple of things that are coming up within the chamber. Eileen Curtis is retiring. The July 12th meeting is now going to be a dinner meeting. We're going to be honoring Eileen. You'll get an invitation. I hope some or all of you can come. They're trying to set up a special Herndon Mayor's Table. I talked to Rick about it earlier this week. We hope that we'll get good participation from the Herndon community, because that's really where the Dulles Chamber started. Many of you know it was here in Herndon in the town hall for many, many years. We have an event tomorrow night. This one's interesting. It's to raise money for My Health Matters, which is a health and wellness initiative, and the Health Matters initiative fundraisers being held at a bar here in Herndon. It's a little ironic, but that's why I love the chamber and that's why I love Herndon. We've got guest bartenders. Eileen Curtis is going to be hopefully out of bed and behind the bar. And Bill McKenna is going to be guest bartending, so all of you should come down and have a look at him really working.
Maybe.
The next day, we've also got an event. It's in Chantilly at Mustang Sally's Brewing Company. Bergman's Cleaning. It's their 100th anniversary, so it promises to be a pretty good event. May 5, Friday Night Live. Everybody loves Friday Night Live. It starts. May 19 is the sponsors party. You all should get an invitation from the chamber to come to the sponsors party. If you don't, I'd ask the clerk's office to let me know, and I'll get you an invitation so that you can all come and see some of the businesses and some of the sponsors and some folks in our community. I want to thank you specifically for recognizing the Herndon Committee, which is something different we started a couple of years ago. It's getting our Herndon community back involved. I made certain that you didn't have to be a member of the chamber to come. All you had to do was have an interest in what's going on in Herndon. Many of you have attended some of those meetings, and we always appreciate any of you who can come. This year, we have a free lunch, which is kind of a draw for some folks. Brahma, the Italian restaurant in the Brick Oven Pizza Place in the Kmart Shopping Center, joined the chamber last year. And when Fran Rucker brought them in, she said, well, part of the initiation is you've got to provide free lunch to the Herndon Chamber for a year. And she's done it. I mean, it's everybody should go shop there and get a couple of pizzas, because she provides us pizzas. And if you can't get over there, come to one of our meetings. It's the third Tuesday at noon, and it's great pizza. So you should try that. The meetings that we've had have generally involved a presentation of some type. This month we had Cornerstones. Carrie Wilson came and talked to us about all the wonderful programming they're doing. We had doll homes. We had tradition homes. We had the folks that renovated the atrium building come in and talk to us about what's going on there. We have discussions about what's going on at Art Space, Next Stop. We talk about local news. We generally have a small portion devoted to asking Dennis Holste what the status is on the downtown development project, and him saying, I can't say anything. But it really is, to me, it's a very valuable time. It's a good time. We actually do learn a lot, and we're getting a lot of excitement from new businesses. So, as I said, I think everything that the town is doing is working, and I thank you all for doing it.
Thank you. That brings us to the comments portion of the agenda. Mr. Town Manager, do you have anything for us?
Nothing this evening, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Davidson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I do. Recently, the Town Council established the Herndon Parkway Committee. That committee basically will be looking at interjurisdictional concerns in the transportation area. We are currently soliciting members. There is an application on the town's website. Be very happy if you're interested in that, you would apply to join that committee. Even if you don't want to be on the committee, we certainly will be in the future soliciting comments from all members of the local area. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McKenna.
There's several things, but I just want to focus on one. Last Thursday, I was lucky enough to be selected to be at the Herndon Elementary Career Day, and that was a lot of fun, I got to tell you. First of all, Chief, just so you know, very hard to compete against someone giving out stickers, and then right next to is the TSA with a German Shorthair Pointer, and the fire department giving away hats.
You never want to be next to a dog.
No, I lost. There's no sense. But it was what was really awesome though was a lot of kids were coming up to me, asking questions. One kid wanted to be president of the United States, so I could only give him as far as town council. I couldn't really tell him what to do above that. But what was really cool was there was some kids that actually recognized me from coming to their house when I knocked on their door. So, and I was very happy because I got 12 people who gave me their business card, which meant that was like their favorite presentation. And they were actually shocked because town government can be a very bureaucratic, boring thing sometimes. And I was very happy about that. But needless to say, thank you, Margie, for all the work you did. There was she did a lot of work behind this, so I won't ask you to get a clown or dogs and stickers. I'll take care of that next year, but I'll bring sparklers and stuff, and hopefully I'll get more than 12 next time. But it was a lot of fun.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Cunningham.
Thank you. The mayor and I had the pleasure of attending the inaugural Third Thursday event here in the downtown. It's put on by Arts Herndon, and if you haven't seen the photos, pop on my Facebook page and look for that event. It's a really nice event. We have all sorts of performing artists, singers, craft vendors, all through the downtown. It's a lovely evening. It'll be every third Thursday throughout the summer, and so please check that out at the artsherndon.org website.
Perfect. Thank you. Ms. Olam.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thoroughly enjoyed the Mayor's Volunteer Appreciation Night, 33rd annual. Sunday night, it was great again to see all the over 400, I believe, volunteers that volunteer in the town of Herndon. And many of these people don't even live in Herndon, so it takes all kinds of people to make this community the way it is. A reminder that the TED Talk is May 6th. That's coming up at the middle school. And my own, I call him my third son, Bala Khan, will be speaking at that event. So I'm pretty excited about seeing Bala. This weekend on Saturday night will be the reception at Art Space for the Arette event. These are a couple of dear friends of mine. They have passed. He made it to 100. She was 95 when she passed. We had them in 2010, and now this will be the last time that art will be shown in the U.S. It will be going to Israel and Belgium after this show comes down. And I did notice there were all these placeholders in the parking lot, so it looks like the porta potties are arriving for Friday Night Live. So that means it's really close. And Relay for Life, June the 10th will be the Relay for Life. This year, instead of at the middle school, it has moved to the Naismith School, which is on the other side of the toll road. But just recently, in 1980, I lost my grandmother to cancer. In 2008, after my dad and mom had been married 58 years, and he went through 2.5 years of battling, he was lost to cancer. And then my younger brother was diagnosed in November this year, and we lost him in March, so he didn't even make it 5 months. So if you know someone that's on a team, please donate or show up and walk with us. I've been adopted by the O'Reilly family, so I'm an O'Reilly for a day every year during the Relay for Life. And I'll be out there walking to see if we can't find a cure so we don't have to talk about this anymore.
Thank you, ma'am. Vice Mayor.
Sure. I'm just going to mention the TEDx event again because I'm going to put an extra plug in for that. Joe Plummer, who's the organizer of that event, has extended the discount for another week. So until next Monday, May 1st, buy your tickets, tedxherndon.com. You can save about $20 if you buy it by next Monday. And there are a limited number of tickets left. He sold over 400 tickets, so it's going to be a great event. Look at the list of speakers. I really encourage you to go. And of course, just one more plug for Friday Night Live, which is a week from Friday, which means it's officially almost summertime. So I'm super excited about that.
Bring it on. Well, this is the first time I can remember that none of the items in my list has anybody talked about. I'm feeling very excited. Big Truck Days is coming up. It's a fun afternoon on Thursday, May 4th. And Thursday, May 4th and Friday, May 5th. I miss the days of taking Zachary when he was a little one over there. We would go every day with our cans and stay until the DPW guys were like, who is this woman and why won't she go home? But it's really a great time to go over and check out the trucks. They're all spiffy and clean. They do ask if you can to bring canned goods to donate to Link, but even if you can't, please come and show up and check out our trucks. Joe Adams, who's a constituent of ours, asked that I mention that the Northern Virginia Vision Walk will be held on Sunday, May 7th at 9 a.m. at Cameron Run Regional Park in Alexandria. The walk supports the Foundation for Fighting Blindness, whose mission is to make the world a brighter place for millions of Americans with blinding diseases. And if you need more information on that, you can contact the town clerk's office. And we also have Coffee with a Cop coming up. It's going to be on May 7th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Guapo's over on Eldon Street. And so you can visit the town's website, herndon-va.gov, or contact the clerk's office for more information on that. I wanted to take a moment to congratulate Herndon's own Penny Halpern, who I've invited to come here this evening. She was named last Friday Drainesville District's Community Champion by Supervisor John Faust, and she was recognized at an event on last Friday, and we're so proud of this well-deserved recognition. Over the past year, Penny has dedicated more than 500 hours volunteering for the Herndon Village Network and the Girl Scout Council of the nation's capital. Herndon Village Network is a grassroots, neighbor-to-neighbor nonprofit initiative that strives to support Herndon senior citizens by coordinating and providing a wide range of services. She's been a driving force behind this, serving as the board president since 2013. And without her commitment, many of our seniors would not have transportation to buy groceries, pick up medication, or go to social events. She's volunteered with the Girl Scout Council since 1980, serving in a variety of leadership roles, including troop leader, service unit manager, share leader, and money manager, and Council Gold Award panel chair, just to name a few. And she was actually a Girl Scout before that. So many, many years of service in the Girl Scout community. So we are just so grateful for everything that you do for the town. Those are just two of the organizations that you're a part of. And I would like to invite down Delegate Boysko, who would like to say a few words. Surprise!
Thank you so much, Mayor. It's my delight to be here. Penny, I've known you for a really long time, and I'm just so thrilled that you work in the community, making it a better place for everyone. We're still in Volunteer Appreciation Month. I also want to, before I go into this, I also want to point out that Penny has a husband whose name is Les Halpern, and he does his fair share of work in the community as well. I don't know, he's very quiet and understated, and he doesn't brag about what he does, but he actually works with children, making sure that they are doing their homework and tutoring them and mentoring them. He also does, he is a member of our electoral staff here for Election Day, and he does a lot of work behind the scenes to help people every single day. And I'm mighty proud to call you all friends and neighbors. But earlier in the session, we in the General Assembly had House Joint Resolution number 953, commending Penny Halpern for her work with the Girl Scouts for more than 45 years. And I'm not going to read the whole thing today. I will share this, but if you'd come up and let me give this to you, I'd be mighty proud.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so
Hey, do we want to?
all you do for the community.
Let's let Margie's going to come take a good picture for you guys.
Okay, great.
Good picture.
Well, with a real camera.
He doesn't know.
Les. That's right. With a camera. I know.
Yeah, you're taking my bad side.
Can we come stand on
Yes, there we go.
Sure. All right. Oh. Yeah. Barbara's zooming in.
Trying to figure out how to work this thing.
Technology.
When it works.
All right. Thank you for coming, Penny. All right. We pulled it off. Penny, did you want to say anything? You don't have to, but I want to give you the opportunity if you'd like to. Nothing like a surprise speech.
I know. Oh, what to say. Thank you so much for all your recognition of what I do. I don't do it for fame or fortune. I do it because the payback is unbelievable. The thank you at the end of whatever you do is more than enough pay. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. And finally, I would like to recognize Kids at Hope Herndon. I believe we have a representative here from Kids at Hope. There we are, who held a bookmark contest at the Herndon Community Center. And I think the winners may be here this evening, and we're delighted to recognize them. So welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Town Council members. My name is Claudia Thomas, and I work with Fairfax County Public Schools, and I am here today to represent the schools and the participants of the Kids at Hope bookmark/logo contest. So the elementary school students do the bookmark contest, and then the high school students do the logo contest. And this evening we have one student that joined us, and his name is Abel Jacob. He is in the 11th grade at Herndon High School, and he placed third in the logo contest. I wanted to also go ahead and say thank you for your support of Kids at Hope Herndon, where we believe that all children and youth are capable of success without exceptions. And today's recognition of April is for Autism Awareness Month. I thought that was so appropriate, that every child, every young person is capable of success, because success means something different for each one of us in our lives. So thank you for your support. And we would love a picture. I don't think Abdel and I were discussing whether he wanted to say a few words, and I think he said he didn't want to say a few words. So
no problem. Thank you. Well, congratulations, and we're really proud of you. And we'll run down for a photo op, and then you can show all your friends that you were with the mayor and town council. It's all downhill from here. It doesn't get better.
Did you want to say a few words or no?
All right. I want to thank my council colleagues in the audience and all the staff that are here for the budget for indulging us in that. I think that we don't usually have quite that many presentations, but I think that they were well worth it this evening. This is the portion of the agenda for comments from the audience. This is when you're invited to come forward to speak on any item that is not a public hearing item. So if you're here to speak about the budget or any about the budget, then that would be appropriate at the budget item, which would be following this portion. Is there anyone that would like to come forward and speak on any item. Yes, sir, Mr. Downer.
Madam Mayor, Richard Downer, 216 Herndon Station Square. I was very disappointed tonight. I thought we were going to see the slides of Vice Mayor Baker's trip to Italy, but I'm told that that's not going to be done.
That's classified.
Oh, it's classified. No, actually, I'm here for two reasons. First is the downtown streetscape depiction of the town depot. I'm speaking strictly as a citizen. It's on page 3 of your handout, and I hope you will take a look at that. It's not the normal depiction of that building. It's got trying to make it look three-dimensional, and it doesn't. So I hope you will take a look at that. Caught that the other night at the work session. The other thing is I hope that you will take a look at the HPRB tapes. I am getting a lot of comments from people in the historic district about their dissatisfaction with some of the approvals or disapprovals that have been given by the HPRB. And I don't blame them for it. Having sat through the last week's session, I realized that the guidelines have not been changed yet. There's a committee supposedly that's working on the guidelines. I don't know if it's been enacted yet or not, but I implore you to get cracking on that. And please, please read the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, I believe it is, or the one that deals with the standards, which are a guideline, not a standard, because it does mention things, modern materials can be used and making houses more efficient. And I don't think everybody on the HPRB realizes they have as much flexibility as they do. And I can tell you right now, you're going to get one back at you for an appeal. So I think we don't want to lose that, but I think we do need to bring it up to date. Thank you.
I believe it is on our next work session item. I know it's coming up in May to start that discussion or continue that discussion. So
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to come forward and speak on any item that's not a public hearing? Yes, ma'am. Oh, no? Okay, never mind. No. Is there anybody else who would like to come forward and speak on anything that's not related to the budget this evening? Okay, thank you very much. The next 3 public hearings relate to the town manager's recommended 2018 budget. On behalf of the entire council and town staff, I'd like to thank you all who have submitted your comments. We have all of those entered into the record, and all of the council has those at our fingertips this evening. This is the 3rd public hearing on the proposed budget. Additional public hearings were held on February 14th and April 11th. I'll take a moment to outline the process. The first public hearing will be separate on the proposed ordinance to levy real estate taxes, followed by concurrent public hearings on the remaining 2 items. To adopt the proposed budget, several actions are required. Action on the proposed ordinance to levy taxes on real estate will require a 2/3 vote of council, which is 5, and it will require a roll call vote. Action on the fiscal planning resolution requires a majority of those present and voting, which is 4, if all members of council are present and voting. And finally, action on the appropriation ordinance will require a majority of the council, which is 4. And we all have disclosures to go through, and they sound remarkably similar. So bear with us. We do have to each say those individually, and I will begin. For the record, I am an unpaid volunteer for various organizations in the community, some of which may receive grants or in-kind benefits from the town. Throughout the year, I may be invited to attend events hosted by these organizations as a guest. I am able to participate in the budget deliberations regarding nonprofit organizations fairly, objectively, and in the public interest, and I have filed the appropriate disclosures with the town clerk and the town attorney. And Mr. Davidson, I'll just start with you, sir.
Madam Mayor, for the record, I am an unpaid volunteer for various organizations in the community, some of which may receive grants or in-kind benefits from the town. Throughout the year, I may be invited to attend events hosted by these organizations as a guest. I am able to participate in the budget deliberations regarding nonprofit organizations fairly, objectively, and in the public interest. I have filed the appropriate disclosure with the town clerk and town attorney.
Thank you. Next.
Madam Mayor, for the record, I am an unpaid volunteer for various organizations in the community, some of which may receive grants or in-kind benefits from the town. Throughout the year, I may be invited to attend events hosted by these organizations as a guest. I am able to participate in the budget deliberations regarding nonprofit organizations fairly, objectively, and in the public interest. I have filed the appropriate disclosure with the town clerk and town attorney.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Madam Mayor, for the record, I'm an unpaid volunteer for various organizations in the community, some of which may receive grants or in-kind benefits from the town. Throughout the year, I may be invited to attend events hosted by these organizations as a guest. I am able to participate in the budget deliberations regarding nonprofit organizations fairly, objectively, and in the public interest, and I have filed the appropriate disclosure with town clerk and town attorney.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Sure. Madam Mayor, for the record, I'm an unpaid volunteer for various organizations in the community, some of which may receive grants or in-kind benefits from the town. Throughout the year, I may be invited to attend events hosted by these organizations as a guest. I'm able to participate in the budget deliberations regarding nonprofit organizations fairly, objectively, and in the public interest. I have filed the appropriate disclosure with the town clerk and town attorney.
And last but not least,
Madam Mayor, for the record, I am an unpaid volunteer for various organizations in the committee, some of which may receive grants or in-kind services from the town. Throughout the year, I may be invited to attend events hosted by these organizations as a guest. I am able to participate in the budget deliberations regarding nonprofit organizations fairly, objectively, and in the public interest. I have filed the appropriate disclosure in the town clerk and with the town clerk and town attorney.
thank you very much. Mr. Town Manager, do you have more info for us this evening?
Absolutely, Madam Mayor. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to sit up here tonight representing the members of management team who work so diligently to bring this budget to you. Just wanted to highlight a few things, the very little few things that have changed since last we spoke. I'm sure you're tired of hearing me speak on the budget because it seems like we're talking about it all the time. I just want to highlight a few things based on the work session and some things I brought to your attention last week at the work session. In your fiscal planning resolution, you will see before you the grant laid out as you instructed me to last week. There is a $3,425 difference between the budgeted amount in the original and this. What I've done, we went back and John Casella and I looked at how we were doing the debt service pertaining to lease purchases, and we feel that we have some leeway in there based on timing of purchases, so we made up the $3,400 difference that way, as opposed to, I think I told you the last time, we'd be looking at sustainability since that was the last thing funded. Sustainability remains intact as budgeted in the budget. A couple other things that we looked at as over the past few weeks, we've had some changes in personnel, nothing changing the head count, but some reclassifications. I wanted to make sure they were represented adequately in the document moving forward. A couple of things included, we've retitled somebody in the communications and economic development section from an office assistant to a communications assistant. We reclassified a help desk analyst in the IT department up to a network administrator and reclassified a systems engineer down to a network administrator. That's a equalization. There's no money involved there. We also eliminated a part-time office assistant in finance and added an accounting technician. We eliminated a senior accounting technician and added an accounting technician to administrative tech. So these are all changes that were revenue neutral, so they will not be reflected in the budget. They were just operational changes to react to some of the changing demands on the various departments. With that, the budget remains intact as I briefed you 2 weeks ago. And if you have any questions, I'm available. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Questions for the town manager? Anyone? No, I just want to reiterate and ask to clarify that all of our tax rates are staying the same. We are not recommending an increase in any of our tax rates.
That is absolutely correct, Madam Mayor. As I said 2 weeks ago, all rates remain the same as they were last year.
Just want to make that really clear. So, all right, thank you very much. No further questions or anything for council? Okay, great. So I will open the first public hearing, which is Ordinance 17007, which is to levy the tax rate, which is a separate public hearing on just that. If there's anyone who's here to address the council on just the tax rate portion of the budget, now is the time to come forward. You have up to 3 minutes. State your name and address for the record. Is there anyone that would like to come forward? Okay, Seeing none, I will close that public hearing and move to council level for discussion and possible action. Ms. Owen.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of 17-0-07.
Second.
Discussion made, or I'm sorry, a motion made by Councilmember Olem, seconded by Mr. Davidson. Discussion on the motion, Ms. Olem.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the excellent staff that we have been able to maintain the current tax rate, and we don't need to have an increase, and I think that should make our citizens pretty happy. We're very frugal, and I think they squeeze every nickel out of every dollar we get in, and thanks for that.
Thank you. Mr. Davidson?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I think it's fantastic that we're keeping the same rates, and we have for several years now. Great job, Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you. Other discussion on the motion on the tax rate? No. Well, I'm pleased to be able to say that since I've served on council since 2010, we've never raised the real estate tax rate, which is pretty remarkable. I think if we aren't the only jurisdiction that hasn't done that, we're one of the few. I don't know how long it's sustainable, but somehow we are continuing to be very wise with your tax dollars and spending them wisely. So, if there ever is a reason, if there ever is a proposed raise in the tax rate, you'll know that it's definitely warranted. It's not something that we take lightly. So if there's no further comments, I will call the question on the motion, and this, again, does require a roll call vote, so I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Thank you, Mayor Merkel. Vice Mayor Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Cunningham?
Yes.
Councilmember Davidson?
Yes.
Councilmember McKenna?
Yes.
Councilmember Olem?
Yes.
Mayor Merkel?
Yes. So that motion carries unanimously. Next up is the fiscal planning resolution, ordinance 17008, to appropriate the funds, and 17G41 to adopt the fiscal planning resolution. So I will open these two public hearings concurrently and invite anyone forward to address the council on these items, which would include any comments on grants, nonprofit organizations, or any other items in the proposed budget. Is there anyone that would like to come forward? Yes, ma'am. Thank you for spending so much of your evening with us waiting for this opportunity. We appreciate it.
Good evening. I'm Justine Klenna, the principal of Herndon Middle School. My address is 7203 Timber Lane, Falls Church, Virginia. Mayor Merkel and members of the Herndon Town Council, thank you for allowing me to come to spend, I think I heard 3 minutes to advocate for a position that I think is funded in the budget, that proposed in the budget, that would be a school resource officer coming from the Herndon Police Department. I'm very much in support of having a Herndon police officer in our school, and shared with Herndon High School, and I've spoken with Liz Noto, who has also is very encouraged by this idea. There's 4 reasons why I feel strongly that this would be very beneficial for our school. The first is connecting the Herndon Police Department and the Herndon community through families. When we have our police officers in the school, which of course we have Fairfax County officers already, they get to know the students, they build relationships with them. It's very positive. The second is the connection between Herndon Middle School and Herndon High School, especially around the safety of our students. Oftentimes our police officers are in communication with our assistant principals, who are aware of rumors and other kinds of conflicts that might be brewing, and they often have connections between the two schools. By having someone who's participating with staff members between both schools, they can be proactive. They can try to address things before something happens that is regretful or a safety issue for our students. The third is the ability for an SRO to support our staff, our social workers, our counselors, or again, our assistant principals and our teachers, by being able to be involved with the students who are having challenges, the students who have needs, the students who are coming from homes where there might be opportunities to support them more if they have a connection with the police department. And oftentimes our SRO, and if we had a Herndon PD SRO, they'd be involved in some of these conversations. They'd be more aware of some things that were going on right here in the town of Herndon. And
No,
then
take
finally,
your time.
Thank you.
You can have a little more time.
Oh.
It's the schools.
It's really
you can
just-
technically have up to 5 minutes when you're speaking on behalf of an organization, so go
Thank
for
you.
it.
So I was just going to say it's to benefit the school, and our mission is to educate the students and make sure that they're learning. And when they're learning, they're much more likely to be successful in society. And so the addition of this position would help our students because it would provide all those things that I just mentioned. Thank you for the opportunity tonight.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to come forward and speak on the budget? Mr. Downer, followed by Mr. O'Reilly.
Madam Mayor, I checked with my wife when I left the room to make sure we hadn't moved. We still live at 216 Herndon Station Square.
Valid question.
No. Anyway, I'm here tonight as an official representative of the Board of Directors of the Herndon Historical Society. And we would ask you to please include us in your grant request at the amount that you feel is appropriate. We will make sure it is well spent for the projects that we have. And also, we would like to speak, Miss Klakis has familiarized all of you with what we call the Carroll House, but it's originally the old stone cottage, the original stone cottage, which has been added on to. And we would hope that you would allow the funds to remain in the budget, and be happy to work with the staff to come up with a solution to that portion of the building that's the stone cottage is very historic and tells the story of our town. We're not talking about the cinder block addition. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. O'Reilly.
Michael O'Reilly. I live at 837 Moffett Forge Road in the town of Herndon. Madam Mayor, members of council, I'm here this evening as the president of Arts Herndon, the official arts agency of the town of Herndon. Our predecessor organizations, the Council for the Arts and the Foundation for Cultural Arts of Herndon, have over 38 years, I think, combined experience providing excellent art education and programming in the town. We're here to ask you to support our grant application, and we hope you'll look at it favorably. Our long history in the town provides us with great experience as we move forward. Our mission is to promote and support the arts in the greater Herndon area and to establish and sustain a permanent arts center in our downtown. And we're extremely pleased with the progress that has been made thus far, and we're looking forward to a successful conclusion to the negotiations with Comstock, and when the signatures are on the paper, we can really start to get to work on some of the things that need work. I think you all know our executive director has removed any conflicts that she might have had between being on council and being executive director by submitting her resignation. We're terribly sorry to see her go, although she's agreed to volunteer with us on an as-needed basis as we move forward and begin our search for a new executive director. I can tell you that search began today with the advertisement that's gone out to various art organizations, colleges, and it's posted on a couple of the well-used community boards. So we expect to close the application process by the middle of May, as long as we have sufficient applications, and we plan to move forward quickly to fill the position. So we'll be up and running by the time you all sign a comprehensive agreement. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward and speak on the budget? Okay, thank you. I'll close the public hearing. And let's see. Move to council level for discussion and action. We will take separate motion action on the next two resolutions. So is there a motion to adopt the fiscal planning resolution 17G41?
Ma'am, sorry, go ahead, please.
Madam Mayor, I move we approve 17G-41.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the motion. Ms. Olam.
Yeah, I heard the comments from the principal of the middle school, and I just wanted to let you know, last Tuesday night I was not at our work session because I was at a conference. I'm appointed by the governor for a commission for executive committee for children in the state. And one of the things that they were talking about, and we talk about so many things that I'm always so proud of Herndon being out there because we're the third largest town, but we have many cities that are larger and counties. But having the police officer at the middle school is something that is just so important to the health of our community. And, you know, what the principal was expressing there. And then another thing that our police have been doing for years. I have a 24-year-old son, and when he was about 9 or 10, he played Little League football, and there were police officers that were coaches. So they've known him all of his life, as well as all those other young people that play on various sports teams that our police officers volunteer their time and do things, as well as other individuals that work in the town. So I think that piece that we put in is something that we all supported, but I just wanted the rest of the council to know that we are really doing above and beyond the majority of communities in the state to take care of the health of our community.
Thank you, ma'am. Further discussion. Mr. Davidson, did you have comments?
Yes, I just wanted to point out, and I have some numbers in front of me. I'd be happy to share with anybody who's interested. I won't bore you with them, but during the budget negotiations and discussions, it was pointed out to me that when we're talking about the grants that Herndon gives to make our community better, to make our community stand out above other communities, that we actually have a much higher number that we give out in grants to nonprofits than other nearby jurisdictions. And that's the point I wanted to make.
Thank you. Other discussion on the motion? Mr. Vice Mayor.
Okay.
Mr.
I want to echo what sorry. I want to echo what Ms. Olam said about the school resource officer, and I'm so glad Justine Klena came in to speak about that. And I think both the chief's judgment, Chief DeBoard, requesting an additional school resource officer, not only from Fairfax County, but specifically from the town of Herndon, and then Ms. Klena taking her time to come in. I mean, she was Fairfax County Principal of the Year last year. She's a really impressive person. So I so appreciate that she came in and offered that feedback for us today. And also as a middle school teacher, former middle school teacher myself, there's a special place for me on that. And I think it so speaks to, I just want to highlight on this part for a second, the community policing concept, and it's like healthcare, right? It's that preventative maintenance. It's seeing our police officers as part of the community, as those leaders in the community, and not as just authority figures that come in when something goes wrong. So I'm very supportive of that concept, and I appreciate the chief's leadership in requesting that. And then related to the grants, as Mr. Davidson said, we do spend a lot of time talking through these grants. We appreciate that. We know our grant process is a little clunky. We're looking at that because we do want to make this easier. We do try to be as generous as we can, but also with that balance of respecting the taxpayers and that this isn't, we do have to be diligent with the money that we allocate. We certainly want it to align with our 5 key vision items, including arts and entertainment being a key component, particularly as we look at the development and what we're seeing as Herndon's future. So I'm excited. I think if you look at those grants, that does start to speak to some of the things that are really important to this council and the vision we're setting. Thank you.
Mr. McKenna, followed by Ms. Cunningham.
I've been part of a budget process before in a different state, and I can tell you that this has been a breath of fresh air. Mr. Town Manager, really appreciate your diligence and being open, because I can tell you, all you have to do is Google my name, 1999, and Denellen Town budget, and you'll see all you need to know about how a process that was for me. But I just want to reiterate what everyone was saying, especially about the schools. I think it's great that we're having some synergy there in regards to the town government working with the schools. That was something I started back in 1999 with my town, because the way it was done is the Board of Education had their budget and we had our budget. At the same time, if the tax rates went up, it was always the town fault. So I wanted to work with the Board of Education to kind of bring that together and see if we can get something going. But in this case, I just like to see, these are our schools, even though they're Fairfax County, it is our town, these are our kids. And I'm really excited about those things. And also just the overall process. It's been fantastic. And I'm looking forward to next year because this was my first one looking at this. So thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to let me through the books. And I enjoyed it. Thanks.
Weirdo. No,
sorry, I did.
No, I appreciate it, Ms. Cunningham. Ms. Cunningham.
Thank you. Echoing the comments of my colleagues, I want to thank staff for really another outstanding year on the budget. As always, staff scours our budget to find opportunities for optimizing the spending and investment of our taxpayer dollars. And again, they have stepped up to the plate. It is really unprecedented for a municipality to be able to say they have not raised their tax rate in 6 or 7 fiscal years and still maintain the level of service where many businesses and residents are very happy with the safety, the cleanliness, the friendliness, the inclusiveness, and the overall efficiency of how this town operates. So my hat's off to staff for not only just a great job on the budget, but for carrying through and squeezing every bit out of every dollar our taxpayers give to us. There's very little that we as council can control in the budget because most of it is dedicated to personnel and large things like trash compactors and dump trucks, which are very big ticket items, but we need them and we love them. So things like the grants do take up a lot of our time, and we've spent a number of work sessions, a number of individual sessions, and we've taken in a lot of staff and input from constituents and from the various groups who've applied. And I have to say the grant spending does reflect the priorities for our future. Our future are our community and our children, and I think our grants reflect that. So I think I'd like to thank my colleagues for really hashing it out. I mean, we were literally hashing out $100 here, $100 there. I mean, we were really going to the mat to make sure our nonprofits and our schools got good funding. And a lot of this funding is in some ways token, but it sends the signal that this government, this community believes in these nonprofits. And you as a donor and you as a volunteer and you as a customer, you might want to sit up and pay attention and do so too. So thank you for trusting us with another fiscal year.
Thank you. Well, I'll just segue right from what Ms. Cunningham was saying about the grants. We always laugh that we're in a $50+ million budget and we spend the most time on the couple $100,000 that we have allocated for our nonprofits and the grant process. We are really trying to make those reflect our vision statement, like the Vice Mayor said. And I just like to throw a plug out there that I know that I'm proud that we seem to be giving more than a lot of other jurisdictions, but I think when you think about what makes Herndon, what the things that people really cherish and enjoy about living here, the volunteer night, all that we recognized a couple nights ago, and all of those, a lot of those volunteers are working with our nonprofits. And I would love for us to think of finding a way to give even more to our nonprofits, because as a town, we have that flexibility. Now, Mr. Town Manager has to find the money, but I would like to just plant the seed in the residents' mind and my council colleagues' mind that maybe next year we look at if we might look at our meals tax as it stands. I'm not recommending a rate change, but as it stands, allocating a portion of that specifically toward our vision to help possibly give a little more latitude with what we may be able to give to some of these nonprofits to really put our money where our mouth is on that vision statement. And everybody's already said this. I totally support the HPD position. Chief and I have had tons of conversations. It's going to make a huge difference. It'll connect us more with Fairfax County and those officers that are already in the schools, which I think will be nothing but positive. And the Carroll Cabin has come up quite a bit. We had a discussion item back in February. There is, I think, $32,000 in reserves in this year's budget, and it is also a discussion item on our CIP, which will start, I believe that's at the Planning Commission now or just finished. It's coming to us next month, next work session and public hearing.
Planning a Carroll Cabin in June.
Okay, so there are conversations to be had about that. There's not a decision that's imminent or that has been made. So we've heard you, and we look forward to discussing that further and seeing what the right way to go is. So with that, I'll stop talking and call the question on the motion. This does not require a roll call vote. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. And finally, is there a motion to adopt the ordinance which appropriates the funds to implement the budget that we've just passed.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? If we don't do this, none of what we just did matters. So any further discussion from anyone? Okay, great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Oh, I'm sorry. That
that's a roll
requires
call.
a roll call vote. I apologize. It's even in yellow and bright letters. So let's try that again. I have a feeling I know how this will go, but let's please call the roll. I didn't even see the flailing. I usually do. Sorry.
We were used to that from
Thank
earlier.
you. Sorry, Madam Town Attorney.
That's okay.
Sorry. I thought that went awfully quickly. Go ahead.
We both looked at each other and went, oh.
Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor Merkel. Vice Mayor Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Cunningham? Yes. Councilmember Davidson?
Aye.
Councilmember McKenna?
Yes.
Councilmember Olem?
Yes.
Mayor Merkel?
Yes, that motion passes. You don't often get a chance for a do-over, guys, so that was nice. Okay, great. We have one general item. Bryce, thank you for sticking through all this for us. This is the this is a resolution to amend the downtown streetscape guidelines, and the council was very supportive of this, but I wanted the public to have an opportunity to get a brief overview of the kinds of things we're looking at. So I'll invite Bryce to come forward and refresh our memory. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Is this on? You picking me up?
Hold on, try it again.
Madam Mayor, members of the Town Council, thank
so,
you. Before you is a resolution to adopt a revised downtown streetscape chapter into the Herndon Guidelines for the Planning and Design of Town Streetscape Projects document. With the presentation this evening, I'm just going to briefly go through what that document is and then just some of the highlights of the changes that are being proposed with this revision. So the Herndon Guidelines for the Planning and Design of Town Streetscape Projects was adopted by the Town Council in 2008. It is adopted by reference in both the Town Code and in the zoning ordinance. This document serves as a manual that provides design standards and material specifications and construction details for the various streetscape design and streetscape features that we have townwide. It's used by town staff, it's used by town consultants, it's also used by developers and their various design and construction teams. This proposal this evening only revises the downtown chapter, as I stated. However, the town does anticipate taking a revision to the entire document back to Town Council at some point this summer. The reason why we had to move the downtown chapter sort of ahead of the game was really just because we have a number of projects downtown that are under construction or that are soon to be under construction that really do require clear direction for streetscape design that this revision provides. So what is being revised here? The first thing is we're introducing a new format, which is more user-friendly, more clear, more concise, and also better coordinated with improved graphics throughout. There's also a number of specifications that have been updated and a number of specifications for new features that have been added to the document. Excuse me. This slide here just shows a sample of the graphics that are included in the new document. The streetscape guidelines really do rely on graphically expressing some of the standards, both in plan views and in section drawings, both of which are shown here on this slide. This slide lists the existing elements that have been updated with the revision. Many of these were technical updates that don't necessarily change the overall appearance or the overall type or use of existing streetscape feature. Where you will see the difference, and I'll sort of call out a few of these, where you will see the difference is planting bed design. We're moving away from the raised planter beds in the downtown. Those proved to have ADA compliance issues and also durability issues. We are introducing new recycling and litter receptacles. That's what's shown in the images on this slide. And those are meant to coordinate with the receptacles that we're going to be using as a standard in the HTOC, the transit-oriented core area. There is also a new bench, which is essentially the old bench, but instead of using wood slats, which we've had durability issues with, metal slats are being introduced. And the other one I wanted to point out was a new pedestrian signal standard, which is a APS accessible pedestrian station that has full audio tactile capabilities to be ADA compliant. As for some of the new elements, a lot of these, well, some of these have already been in use, so the effort here is to really bring the guidelines and the specifications into alignment with what is practiced currently. The items that are completely new, I'd like to call out is the motif pavers that would go within the brick paver sidewalks. These would have the different motifs that are on the top right corner of this slide. And these would be used throughout the commercial and the transitional portions of the downtown streetscape. Movable planters have been introduced, and there's a metal option, a rectangular and a square metal option shown here, and a fiberglass circular option, and that comes in various sizes. The idea here is that we have planters that can go in various different locations within the streetscape. There are also outdoor seating options that have been introduced with this, which includes actual seats and tables. The standard chair that we're looking at is what's shown here on this slide. And also street sign toppers that identify the historic district. So it will identify all the streets within the historic district, and those toppers, as you might guess, just go right on top of the street name signs. The document also includes a number of broad standards for the downtown, and those standards encourage more design flexibility and creativity within the streetscape. They support on-street stormwater retention and the various best management practices for how that occurs. These guidelines invite the sponsorship of the features within the streetscape, and as part of or per the town council guidance from an earlier presentation, more color overall has been introduced into the streetscape, and that's through site furniture and landscaping. That is all I have for the presentation. Open for questions or comments.
Okay, thank you. Questions for staff? Mr. McKenna.
The only thing I have, and it was from last week, and again, it's just me, the last slide with the individual seats, I understand the aesthetics and everything else, but I also know that can be very easily taken from a guy my height and weight can lift that pretty easily. Now, again, if I had some more linear look at it as far as, how are they going to be put away, stacked, and, locked up or anything, but I just, I get what you're trying to do, but I just think that those seats can easily end up on Craigslist and eBay the night of they're put down. That's just how it is, and it's just human nature.
In response to that, I will say that these are meant for more open spaces, public open spaces within the town hall square, within the town green, and not along the street. That might mitigate some of that problem, but it is certainly an issue that we recognize, and we have yet to really flesh out, but we will be looking into that.
Everything else is fantastic. It's just me being the Irish Catholic kid that grew up outside New York City.
And he has a patio that needs furniture, right? Okay. So we got our eye on you. Thank you. Are there other questions or? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Olam.
I just had one. When you're changing out all of the existing, planter beds, will that include? There's a wooden one on Lynn Street somewhere in front of some of the shops. So are they going to change all of those out, or just the ones that are the where the pavers come up about 4 inches out of the ground?
At this time, the project to retrofit all of the bull-nosed raised planter beds with a at-grade surface planting bed, I believe, does not include Lynn Street. So there are a few raised planter beds over there that will not.
Okay, so you're not going to include those at this time.
It includes Lynn Street in front of the HMC, and in front of this building, it does not include the portion of Lynn Street across from Town Hall Square where the shops are. But I can certainly look into that. I'm uncertain of the exact wood planter that you're referencing, but we can take a look at that.
Thank you. I don't have a picture, or I would share it with you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Davidson, did I see your hand? Okay.
Yes, thank you. Bryce, in connection with the depiction of on the depot in the upper right-hand corner, I think you heard Mr. Downer's comments. Could you explain how we came up with that graphic a little bit?
This graphic was developed actually by the group that had been hired to do the brand for the town several years ago, and there were a number of little motifs that showed rail and showed metro and showed the library, and this was essentially just pulled from that package that we used and overlaid onto this. It's not a specific design that we're wed to. If the town council was just to use a more two-dimensional version of the depot, that would be fine as well. We just want to make sure it is something that's not overly detailed, because it is a small paver. It's only 8 inches by 8 inches.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Other questions for staff? Okay, and Bryce, we don't expect you to know every single planter and all of that, so don't worry. We're excited. There's a lot of flexibility still here. It's nice to. I am particularly excited about the Herndon Historic District street signs. I think that would be a kind of low-hanging fruit thing to get done and make a big impact. So that wasn't a question. That we were really bad. Almost none of those were questions. So sorry about that, Bryce. Any questions before I move on? Okay. Well, we will entertain a motion. Mr. McKenna.
I make the motion to, sorry, I can't even pull this up.
I'm sorry, you were leaning forward. I thought you were getting ready to make a motion. Sorry.
No, sorry about that.
Is there a motion to approve Resolution 17G43 to amend the streetscape guidelines?
I'll make the motion, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Second. Sorry, Bill. I thought
My
you
screen
were.
went blank.
That'll teach you to lean toward the microphone. All right. Discussion on the motion. Anyone? So, I think we accidentally discussed it before we had a motion. Anyone? All right. Thank you. Then I will call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That motion carries. And thank you, Bryce. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda, which is number 13?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries, and that concludes our agenda.
Madam Mayor, seeing no other business, I move we adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We stand adjourned at 8:49 p.m. Thank you all.